of REO. They don't need you right now. This is where you have to stand out amongst the crowd and add some massive value to people. Labrescia, like tell us, like in the peak, what's the most amount as an agent that most amount of homes that you've sold in 1 year?
When I had the HUD contract, this was back in 2007 and 2008. After I learned how to do the BPOs and doing the preservation, we actually even got on the preservation side. So once you understand that the government pays this money, you want to maximize everything that they're putting out. So if, say one of the home tellers back in the day, if you need a preservation vendor and an REO vendor, I want to be on both sides so I can double down on my money. So even with home tellers, we got about 200 listings. And then I was in with 3 different asset management companies. So my firm may have sold 300 or 400 homes that year. And that was back in 2007 and 2008. Once you start to make that type of money as a single agent, you're like, wait a minute. So there's somebody that's giving out these listings to them. So my mind just started elevating. Why not be the asset management company who's giving out the listings? So I even sold cars. Now I'm a car dealer too, because whatever I get into, I want to own it. And that's just me. Never stop going, never stop educating yourself. I'm not asking for everybody to come and be an asset management company, but whatever it is that you do, just maximize your learning skills and learn all you can to execute.
Beautiful. And you were able to do that, right? I know the answer to this. You're not with Remax. You're not with Coldwell, right? You're not with any of these big bucks. You use this inventory and stuff to build a brokerage as well. So what's your brokerage look like over there in Atlanta?
So we have about 18 agents, and I could have more, but someone has to train them. So I don't really actively recruit, because now that I'm an asset management company, it's almost like I have brokers, almost like, Larry, are you with EXP as well?
Yes, I am. And then
Okay.
I helped put together like the REO Alliance. So we have about 6 or 7 different asset management companies that used to be my competition at Carrington, that we all decided to join forces, right? The American Destinies, MCM Capital, Templeview, BSI, and just recently PIMCO, who still has the HUD contract in about 5 different states. So
yeah, and I asked that question because I'm similar to you. So basically, you can just manage vendors without having that responsibility. If I need an agent in Hawaii, I have a network now that I can give it to an agent in Hawaii. If I need someone in Florida, we have an agent network using technology. We can find any agent anywhere. I could even partner with someone like yourself, Larry. If there's a lacking coverage somewhere, I can say, hey, Larry, do you have someone in Nebraska? And now it's about coming together, leaning on each other. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can't find someone. So that's what it's about now, seeing how we can help one another. And what I would love to say, um, it has just been a beautiful, long, hard journey. I remember when I used to go to 5 Star, and I used to probably chase people like the asset management companies for HUD, and they would just kind of look at us like, you ever heard the saying, love the crowd but hate the people? They want us to come to these events, but then when you go to speak to them, it's like they want to run and hide in the bathroom. That is not me. When I go to 5 Star now, I love to stand there and shake 200 people's hands, because I remember when I was chasing people down. Now it's like it's me that they're chasing. But how dare I get to this moment and turn my back on what I am? So I try to lead with that love and just not forgetting where I came from. I really started from the dirt. So, and here we are today. So what I also try to do now is look out for other small businesses. If you are a small business, make sure that you're registered on Equator, making sure that not one person is getting all the listings, just sharing the love and sharing the wealth.
beautiful. Now I do have to run here for a quick second. I got to go for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So my man Joseph Limo is going to take over, and we want to talk a lot about where do you see the opportunities in the market for agents and stuff like that. So I love you guys, and I will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes here.
That's so awesome that Larry's about to go watch something really spectacular for him and his family. But as he mentioned, like this is, incredible information for all of us, and we're honored to have you on. But we would love to hear, what are you seeing now? What do you see as like the short-term future of, the distressed property, and what you think might be happening, slightly thereafter as well?
Yes. So I can speak primarily for our inventory and what we have. The contract that we have, it was a lot of shadow inventory. Some of the calls that we get from the borrowers, they've not paid a mortgage in like 8 or 9 years. And I am just shocked that now that's the file that we're getting. So I'm not sure how other agencies, if they have these type of files lying around, but we have a pretty big volume coming for our contracts. But how it's different is the USDA outsourced their entire default department sort of to us. So we are now tasked with foreclosing on the properties. We have to do the preservation, we have to do the appraisals. So it's a pretty big contract. So when it comes to us, it takes time for us to foreclose on that property to get it over to REO. So that's where it may be a little slower, but the volume is there. And ultimately, if they don't get bought up at the courthouse steps, third party, that volume will come back over to us. So let's just say if we have, I'm just putting this number out there, don't quote me on it. If we got 5,000 properties, we're now tasked with foreclosure on that 5,000. Some of those properties will be bought by third-party vendors at the courthouse steps. So it will not make it back to Dawson's as an REO. So there are opportunities to become investors and other things besides, can I get a listing? So I kind of look at things different now. Yes, you can get a listing, but that listing is just going to give you one commission. What about if you go buy some of these properties and now you can collect rent? So while we're agents, I also want us to think about being business owners and then just looking at with what's happening in this political climate. We don't know, but it looks like real estate is something that they're really not touching because our president loves real estate. So I would look into just buying up more properties and becoming a landlord.
Yeah, that's excellent. And it sounds like there are some significant changes in how the inventory will roll out, like essentially the process for you on the back end from when they're ready to foreclose to when it goes to market as a listing in this specific dynamic. How does that change the agent role for you? Like, how does that change what you need from us because of these shifts in how the property eventually hits the market?
That's my point. I don't want you to just look at yourself as an agent.
Yeah.
I need you to expand on how you're thinking. I need you to say, I need to go buy some properties. So if I don't get another listing, I know I got $10,000 a month coming in rent. We don't know what's going to happen. Like our inventory, we don't have the restrictions like HUD that says owner occupants for the first 10 days. Anyone can buy our properties at any time, unless some of those properties may qualify for a we sometimes get nicer properties and the USDA may say, no, this is a nice property. We want to reserve this one for someone who has a USDA loan. But we don't get a lot of those. It's up to us to identify that. You see what I'm saying? But investors can buy. They do not, they just want the inventory gone because it's shadow inventory. So it's a beautiful portfolio if you're an investor. So now I just look at stuff. I'm not just an agent, I'm a business owner. So my word for you all would be look at doing other things besides just that listing. It's just one commission you're going to get. How can I get repeatable income monthly is how we all need to think about, because everybody's getting into our business. We have so much competition now. The auction companies are here. Technically, now that I'm an asset management company, we really don't need a real estate agent. But I'm saying, no, Labrescia, you're a real estate broker first. Try to honor that code and not just send the property straight to auction. You see what I'm saying? I just try to keep the balance and not get that mindset of that'll just further ruin our industry. And I try to think about it from both hats, if you will.
But it is interesting because not everyone's going to honor the real estate space like you are. They didn't
They're
come
not.
through. Yes. So I really appreciate that idea of like, we need to look at this differently because things may shift. And that doesn't mean we're left out. It's if we leave ourselves out by just pigeonholing into one situation.
That is correct. And I see it, like I said, I still get listings, and most of my listings, I'm putting it in the MLS, but that MLS is driving it to Zillow and all of these other things. But really, they just need us to put it in MLS so that we can lead them to the auction site. So we still use the auction site, but I'm still paying the agent as well. So I'm able to do both.
I love that. So obviously the main point here is let's not just focus on being the agent. As a business owner, as someone who's building an empire, what are all the ways in which we can leverage an asset when it comes to, it needing to be sold? Now, if we can though, let's go to that agent side of it. For a lot of us who are maybe familiar with the REO side, or trying to break into it, what is it that you look for, like with an agent, as far as like how they're going to help you now because of some of these changes that you may see coming down the pipe as far as the process of getting a home on the market? How does an agent actually add value to you?
Yeah, so basically we again, Joseph, I do try to look at things different because again, I used to go to 5-star. I would literally come back home crying because I thought I wasn't good enough to get one of these listings. So the rules in which I play by now, I need you to get your license, take some about education. I just say go get registered in Equator. If you have a real estate license, I've even did away with, hey, if we're giving them the value or the list price, why are we having them to do a BPO? We may ask you to do a BPO eventually, but I don't want you to be bogged down with all these tasks. No, we know the list price. So why is the agent having to do all this extra work? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to make our industry easier. I just want you to respect the fact that I've thought enough of you to give you an asset. Respect me back by doing the right thing by it. It's no more, no less than what you would be doing with your client, a traditional client. Take care of these properties. They're government-owned properties. Answer your phone. Sometimes we get emails and calls where the agent not answering the phone. I'm like, how dare you not answer your phone? You know how people are trying to get listings now? And I just don't want us to take things for granted. But I don't try to put unrealistic expectations on you. I think that we're all professionals, and I just want us to lead with that. And I just try to not to put extra stipulations on people. Just do the right thing with the asset.
I really appreciate that. I think a lot of people here do. As a REO agent in the past, I know what kind of volume it looks like, and you almost have to become like a task manager. And it's very easy to fall into like a whole new role of real estate where you're just managing REOs, which feels like almost more like a 9 to 5 job. Like I've got to be here at this time and whatnot. And, you understand this. A lot of agents lose their way because they forget how to go and hunt. But the reality is, to effectively sell an REO is that you need to know how to deploy those standard marketing approaches and really be out there hunting for that best opportunity or that best offer for the REO. Just throwing it on the MLS and going to cover another task is not going to cut it. At least it's not going to bring you that highest amount that we're looking for.
No, and it's so much competition. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't honor the process. So if I give you a listing, and these are rural properties, so some of them may be an hour away from you, but if you put your sign in that yard, people are going to start calling you, and that's old school real estate. What happened to you putting your sign in the yard, getting residual business off of your sign being in the yard? But some people don't go out there and put the sign in the yard. You don't answer your phone. You're just looking for a handout. You're not looking to build your business. So this is real stuff, and you're only cheating yourself. And let's just not take shortcuts, because our market has become so competitive with everybody now trying to bypass that agent. Really, when I look at the way this is now, if Zillow were to ever say that we could put our listings on their site, all of us are just, I don't want to use a bad word, but we have to show value why we are needed. Why are we needed? That's the question that we need to go away with today. With the new technology, what will you do that technology will not take your place? We have AI coming. It's so many things trying to replace us. What human factor do we offer that makes us relevant in today's time? And because my heart is like it is, that is the only reason I have not been asset management washed, or no, I'm a human first. These people have lives, they have families, they want to leave a legacy. So I want to make sure that the agents continue to get the commission. So I fight with the government. We still need to pay the commission for these properties, even though we may send some of them to the auction site.
Now, if you think about some of the other asset managers that like as your side of the industry, what would you say is the percentage of, owners like you that have that mentality versus the others who are like, no, let's get rid of the agent as quickly as possible?
Well, some contracts, remember that most of these contracts are government contracts. So say HUD may mandate in their RFP, the request for proposal, that you use real estate agents. You have to tell them in your plan what you're going to do. It just so happened that USDA is just one of those antiquated agencies that don't have all of the bureaucracy around what you must do. Our contract was one of the first with that they outsource asset management in. So they don't have all of those requirements, but I don't know of any other asset management, because none of them have probably been REO agents and had to start from scratch in the dirt like we did.
Well, I'll just say, like, the agents that are fortunate enough to work with you, they're tremendously blessed because you do have that heart of, of an agent, and you understand that struggle. But at the same time, you know how to hold them to account because you've been there too, right? So I think that's a really beautiful relationship. What are you seeing as far as what you think the future might look like here in the short term of inventory? Like, what do you see brewing right now, just so we can start to visualize with you what preparations or what the market shifts might look like soon?
That's a tough question. It should be easy, but it's not. It's not easy to answer that question with the new political climate. I'm just hoping that they don't come and start messing with us. But what we do know is that this president does not like mismanagement. And a lot of these people have been able to live in their homes and not pay mortgages for years. So I'm just, I can just answer for like the USDA. Like I say, I get listings from other asset management companies, but I don't get enough volume, or I don't see what they may have coming into their pipeline to make an educated guess about their inventory. But for our inventory, it does not look like it's going to stop. And hopefully we'll continue to get inventory. But what I would like to do, because I'm a compassionate person first, so sometimes we get the calls and the people, they've not paid a mortgage, and now you send them a foreclosure letter. They're like, well, my mom died, or I can't pay my mortgage. So we're trying to go back now and see how we can work out like loss mitigation, or get with nonprofits maybe who can help these people who wasn't expecting that letter, instead of just putting them out. I'm like, oh no, we can't. So my heart has to be, I need a buffer almost. What do we do with these people? Like, it's so many of them, and I'm like, oh my God. So I just want God to show me another way to help in the current contract that we have, to help the homeowners as well. Although we're REO brokers and we want those listings, remember, you're getting a listing because someone else got put out. So I'm just asking for that compassion piece, even when we offer cash for keys, even though we don't do cash for keys on the USDA contract because they won't pay for it. Be compassionate when you're going to knock on someone's door. Help them find their next place. It's not just about the commission all the time. If you lead with love, you're going to have so much business coming towards you. It's not always all about the money. There are other financial capitals. So
It's
that's my.
interesting. If I very briefly will share, I remember my first asset that I was, given as a listing, knocking on that door and having that very difficult conversation. I walked away from that previous owner and questioning, what in the world am I thinking? I don't want to do this. And then I remember over the next day realizing that's why I need to be here, because I don't trust anyone else to give them that dignity, to be willing to save that, like to hold that space with them at the front porch. That lady hugged me during that conversation and it broke my soul. But it's like that muscle you go and finally work after a few years, it gets broken down so it can build up stronger. And I really love that is all the way to someone who is owning an asset management company. Now, it sounds like part of the difficulty in analyzing, in your perspective, what volume may look like in the near future is because you are starting to see that there's been this shadow inventory for a very significant period of time. And so what could happen, it sounds like, is either A, we continue to see that there's this shadow inventory that continues to build and trickle out because there's just a new approach to managing these assets. Or what you're suggesting is potentially an administration that really wants to, cut to the bone immediately and make changes could mean a significant shift in properties hitting the market right away to try and just, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and get after it.
Yeah. So we just don't understand that appetite of what the administration will or will not do. All I know is that we have all of these people who we've been given a mandate to foreclose on them regardless. So will this president say, no, let them stay? I don't think he's going to say, let them stay. I think he's going to say, press on, and that inventory is going to come to the market for investors. And the beautiful part about it, if you're an investor with this portfolio, there is no hold time like owner occupants for HUD and some of the other ones. That's not the case because a lot of these properties need work. Some of them have been abandoned for years. So it's just some beautiful opportunities out there.
So, as an agent, right? Not as the asset manager, but as a listing agent for distressed properties, how are you preparing with some of that uncertainty in mind as an agent? Like, what are some things you're thinking about or ready to do?
And again, Joseph, when you say as an agent, you mean as a business owner that happens to be an agent? Because I look at myself as a business owner and not just an agent, I have other streams of income already. That's just how my mindset has always been. Once I saw that crash in 2007, 2008, and we sold all of those properties, after that inventory was gone, now what are you going to do? You see what I'm saying? So because now what are you going to do has always been at the forefront of my mind. I try to diversify my income. I already have rental properties, and I do a lot with like Section 8 tenants, but the new administration may be coming after that. But we know that rental rates are rising so high. That's why I'm saying, for me, if I'm an agent who's depending on inventory to come to me, I'm going to say, let me get me some rental properties in the meantime. At least I know I can have $5,000 to $10,000 coming in until, if I get a listing, downsizing my bills, just looking at what I'm putting out and what's coming in. If you're depending on someone else to give you a listing, it's too many variables for that listing to get to you. That's out of your control. So you have to kind of do things that are in your control. And that's why I'm big on partnering, trying to help other small businesses get some of these listings, because I know that it's a game changer for some people. If they could just get one listing, we have a couple of states in our inventory. There's only one agent in some of these states, and we have about 60 listings in that state. I'm like, no, other people need to get licensed, because I don't want to just give it to one person when so many people are struggling. You know what I mean? And that's why I kind of like the EXP model too. I'm not with EXP, but I'm just looking that Larry and I may be able to partner later, or we have some other opportunities working behind the scenes with other agents. We're asking them to strategically go and get licensed, if you will, in other places. You have to think for yourself. Don't just get stuck on, oh, I'm licensed in Georgia. Okay, well, what else do you have going on? I have 300 agents here in Georgia. So just
That's
thinking
that
outside the
future
box.
thinking.
Yes.
That is, as an agent, thinking like a business owner. And I really love that you keep coming back to that mentality, because we all need to hear that over and over and over again until it finally clicks. Yes, I am an agent and I need to be ready, but I'm a business owner. And so I really appreciate how you keep coming back to that as part of your answer. So Larry, looks like you're back on, my friend.
We're back. That was an exciting 2.5 minutes of my life, but I am back. What did I miss out on? What were some of the key takeaways that you guys have heard from Labrescia so far? Give me a recap so that I know that this sunk in for you guys.
Well, if no one else will go, I'll go right out of the gate. Like, I really appreciate it. We were just mentioning this. Her perspective, even as an agent, has always been as a business owner. Don't pigeonhole yourself as just an agent waiting for an asset. It's, how do I understand this business on a grander scale? And how can I, as a business owner, position my business and myself and my income throughout this entire process? So that alone, that perspective has been really eye-opening.
Very nice. Very nice. Anybody else have any huge takeaways that they've learned from Mrs. Dawson at this point in time?
I would just say the lead with empathy and compassion. I mean, that's guys, a lot of us REO agents get into the business because we don't want to deal with people on that emotional level that we do in a retail, right? And but what a lot of people don't see is we're seeing it in a totally different thing, right? People are trying to buy or sell. We're watching people lose their house. And when you got to knock on that door to get that contact info, I mean, it's a tough conversation. It is tough. Guys, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. I have seen so many things. I've had, people just right before the sheriff come in, just take their life. I mean, it is unbelievable what these people go through. And if you go up there, and just knock on the door and like, hey, bank says you got to go, like, start giving me info and I got to do, you know what I mean? Like, if you can help them get to that next spot, right? Like, hey, we might not be able to get cash for keys, or hey, I have a friend who's an investor. Maybe we can work something out. Like, if you show them just that little bit of compassion, it just makes everything so much smoother, and it gives them a little bit of hope in the same way. So I that's how I approach it when I knock on the door. So I just appreciate just hearing that other people out there have that same compassion when it comes to it, because it's going to be one of the toughest things. I mean, I had a lady in town, and Blair's not too far from there, in Manuka, who wrote a letter to Obama and was like, I'm going to do this to my family if you try to take, I mean, it's insane what happens. And so, you just got to treat them with that dignity that we were talking about.
Right.
They're a human, and just, you don't understand why they're going through it. They don't even understand why they're going through it sometimes,
Right. Right, right. We had one, I had a listing, this was a listing, and this was in the last 7 or 8 months. So the eviction had already happened. This guy was a veteran, by the way, and the sheriffs had come to put him out. And every time we would go back to do our biweekly inspection, he was out there sleeping in the shed. So now we go on the contract and the people get ready to do their inspection and he jumps
Oh,
out on the
oh
inspector.
no.
So they called the sheriff on him.
Oh no.
Calls me. I'm like, leave that man alone. Wait until he finds a place. Do not arrest him. You just cannot have that mindset. And you've heard the saying, we all know where we've been, but we don't know where we're going. You don't know what could happen in your life that someone may come knocking on your door. So I always try to lead the golden rule, doing to people as you would have them doing to you. And that's asset management, real estate, a painter. Let's lead with love, people. That's the word for today. Okay.
And this is also, guys, where you start to create raving fans, where you added so much value to somebody that it is a disservice for them to use anybody else but you moving forward, because you helped them through one of the hardest times of their lives. And what we preach a lot on this call, the biggest opportunity is to help before it gets to foreclosure. Start running the notice of default list. Start being proactive with this so that people don't have 7 years to wait for their credit to rebuild and this and that, right? Like, help them before that process. And like within our group, we have so many resources to offer to have an offer. I was just looking at a platform. We can have 7 offers on any house across the country right now, right? Literally with just typing in the address. So go to them and be like, look, if somebody could buy your house and you could stay in it, would that interest you, right? But that has to take place before the foreclosure process. After that, like Labrescia, like Justin are saying there, like lead with compassion, right? Because like you will get a lot more. You want the people to work with you. You want to try and help them through this situation, whether that's getting them the most available for cash for keys or the longest amount of time, right? Everybody is going to have a different scenario. And I mean, those are some key points for those of you that have not been in this REO and default space. So I thank you guys both for talking about that.
And if I may, so you're asking, we're waiting for people to give us listings and stuff, right? In this climate, a lot of people will probably be losing their homes because they've lost their jobs. So will we be able to create our own pipeline, if you will? Like Larry just said, look at the newspaper to see who's coming up for foreclosure. The banks will still do short sales. The USDA is doing short sales. We're getting a lot of investors that's getting in touch with the people buying the house before it goes to the sale. So those are the type of things we have to think about. It's so much more money like in that part of it, instead of just getting because most of our properties, we don't have the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 properties at the USDA. Ours is like, we've seen properties sell for $9,000. So these investors are just like, where? And then it has land. So this is a totally different portfolio that's beautiful. So I just want you all to think outside the box and not just wait for a listing. Just figure out how, not just with the USDA, look at that newspaper to see what can I go to the courthouse steps and get or buy. Partner with people, get your little investor groups together. It's so much more opportunity right now than REO.
Hi, this is Karen in New York. And even though in New York City, we're a whole different environment from what you're relating to, you said some key points. Be multifaceted.
Yeah.
Put yourself up for education. Education, learning, understanding your environment is a constant thing. And I really love that. And even though we're so much higher priced, your compassion, I relate to because I've had some of those same experiences in dealing with people, and they remain people I'm in touch with for life. Because when I see what's going on and I said, how can I help you? And I come away just talking to myself and saying, I am so grateful for all that I have. And always see yourself as a business person. You're not just a real estate agent or broker. You're a business person. Be enterprising. Be an entrepreneur. And I think that's something that I see in this business, and it's very, very important. So thank you for sharing.
I
Yes.
think Jay-Z actually said it best, right? Is I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man, right? Like I am an enterprise myself, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
like
Right.
man, learn from him who built an empire. One of the
Yes.
things that that Miss Dawson just talked about was staying in touch with what's in the news, right? There was something that just came out today from Freddie Mac that with the Freddie Mac portfolio, delinquencies are higher than 2008, right? And here's the thing, guys. I like REOs have changed my life, right? And it's provided so many opportunities for me, so many of you guys that I've been doing business with for 17 years now. We have not only changed the trajectory of our lives, but hundreds of agents, buyers agents, open house agents, vendors, cleaning companies, contracting crews, trash out crews, right? Like this is an ecosystem that provides opportunities to help people, right? When, like, let's say somebody doesn't have a job, like, man, do your vendors, do your contracting crews need other people? Like, this is where you tie it all together to become a pillar in your community, right? Where you add massive value to other people, where you create these raving fans. And it's a lot easier when you're doing 200 or 300 deals a year versus when you're doing 5 or 10, right? Your reach gets a lot bigger. You cannot do it by yourself. So this is where you have to surround yourself with others, like-minded people that have the same vision, mission statements, and values, right? Which is a lot of us, right? Like, I mean, man, we have almost 4,000 agents on the REO Alliance at this point in time, right? Like, it's about creating these communities and adding value to others because, like Labrescia, like there is going to be more than enough business for everybody. Everybody is not going to want to do REOs. We will be able to help people do a lot more business wherever they want to go. And that's where you guys can start being leaders and like really start building your own communities and followers and stuff like that by helping people out of these situations, guys.
Yes. I had a question for, was it Karen Gray in New York? Karen?
Yeah, hi. Yes.
Hi. So we have New York, but I'm not sure what type of inventory we have out there. But for some reason, we actually have properties in New York, but I'm not sure how far they would be from you. But just make sure that you're registered on Equator, and I will remember your name, okay?
I'm on Equator. I'm registered on Equator.
Okay.
And yes, even though I'm in the city, I can do referrals to people out in the outlying areas. So
Sounds
thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And Larry, the REO Alliance, is that a paid network? How does one join?
It is not. So this is something that especially the asset management world, like when I was running Carrington, right? Like Alta Realty was never doing business with me because we were always bidding on the same portfolios. They had agents in the same state. So as inventory has went down, right? Myself and a lot of others have kind of collaborated just to like add value to the community, talk about what we do different masterminds. I would love to invite you on and stuff there. One, because I think you add a lot of value to the group, but just so if you need extra coverage and stuff like that. So I think this is just the first of many things that we can potentially work on and stuff together because we've been in the same playground for a long time. And actually, I had asked somebody to introduce me to you. And when they gave me your number, I had your number saved in my phone already. And I was like, well, damn, I only save people that I've actually met. I have a picture of an old business card from you that I took. So we met at 5-star at some point in time. And it comes full circle, right? Because it is a small world for the people that actually do what they say they're going to do. And that's why you have got to where you are, right? That's why there's some people that are constantly successful no matter what happens with the market. So yes, I will reach back out to you to see how we can get Dawson Asset Management, maybe to do a post a month or something like that. How we can get you more involved. We're thinking of like much bigger ideas outside of that with the group of leaders that, I mean, all play in your same playground and stuff. So yes, I will invite you to that specifically.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I have two people that I want to give a shout out. I can't see everybody on here, but I see my beautiful niece is on, Shamika Small. She's also a licensed broker. She's licensed in about, I think, 5 or 6 states.
Yes,
Um,
5.
Oh, that's my niece. And then Tiffany Simone. And I see from Mika, thank you all for joining today. Mr. Larry had said it was okay for me to post that link, and so I posted it, and so a couple of people did join. So Larry, we can be more intentional about this type of thing, because I want people to think outside the box. I don't want us struggling. We've struggled long enough waiting on these REOs. Now I think it's just time for us to work together, collaborate, buy properties, rent them out, and just, it's beautiful what can happen right now. So just go away inspired. And if you're not a part of our, we have a Facebook group. Larry, do you mind if I say it?
I would love for you to say it. You can email it to me and I can make sure that it gets out to my group and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Okay, yes. And someone is asking about our certificate. So typically we've partnered with 5 Star in the past and offered this certificate training. We're going to have the next one, I think maybe in March or April. I know people are probably confused. The old USDA contract we had, we sold all of those properties. We want a new USDA contract. So this one is bigger. So we had to do something different with the training. So it's taken a while for us to get to this moment. So if you have a USDA certificate already, feel free to use that one. You do not have to retake it because you already have one. But there are going to be some new things that you do need to take the training on. But you may not have to pay for that if you've already paid and taken the training in the past. So just FYI, thank you.
And your
Guys.
Facebook information?
Yes. Oh, so it's the name of that group is USDA REO Broker Network. It's free. It's about 3,000 agents over there. And we've just been building our own community since we won the first contract. So that's how we stay abreast of everything and, you know, keep each other inspired. So USDA REO Broker Network.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, or anything for that? Why we have, why we have them on the line here, guys?
I just wanted to say thank you for just everything that you said today. And I love the fact that you emphasize about having compassion for people, because I've been doing it since like 2006, 2007. And I've had, with older people who were on fixed incomes and, had to deliver bad news to them. So I love that you said that. I also love about having multiple streams of income. So I think that's something that we all really need to take into consideration. Thank you.
Hey guys, that is one of the things, right? Like one of my value propositions for the people that we're partnering with right now is let's use this next 4 to 8 years to set up the rest of our lives with multiple income streams. And this time, don't help everybody else create wealth for you to make a 1.5% to 3% commission. That's bullshit, right? Like, because those investors and stuff will run you ragged and then they will dispose of you when they don't need you anymore. This is where you need to become your own investor. Guys, we have Templeview Capital. We have Smart Money Blueprint that are all part of our family that can literally connect us to private money at the best rate possible anywhere. Like, don't create wealth for others until you are living your life in abundance first. Like, that is the goal. Come with this abundance mindset. And if you see something, don't pass it off to somebody else. Hell, come to the group. Maybe it's a group of 4 or 5 of you guys that get together and start buying your own investment portfolios or something like that. But this next 4 to 8 years will set up the rest of your life if you do it correctly. And myself, I mean, there's so many leaders in this industry that you will find will share everything, right? It is not a secret. Like, there's 3-letter agencies that get mad at me for teaching people how to get into REO. They're like, why do you teach people how to get into this? Because those agents trying to get their first REO are not my competition, right? There is more than enough business for everybody. So be a resource for the community. Help other people, right? Like, help other people get their start. Maybe they train with you, they mentor with you for 5, 10 deals. Maybe they're a buyer's agent, right? But set up those opportunities for other people. that is where you will start to really level up when you let go of that attachment and that scarcity type mindset.
Larry, you should be a motivational speaker. I love
Yeah.
it.
I'm sorry, I'm all fired up. I'm speaking so loud right now because there's like, it's like 100 decibels in here, like from every direction. There's 5 different stages going on and stuff like that. But I do, like, I am so passionate about this because it's changed my life. It set up my family, right? Like, my daughter's getting ready to go to college, and I was like, great, you need your real estate license. We are graduating college and you are debt free, right? Like, we are not like living into this cycle. Like, if you guys have kids, tell them to get their real estate license and get in touch with me. I will help set them up, right? Where they might graduate and be like, damn, I don't want to go work 40 hours for somebody else, right? And make $50,000 a year. Like, that is what I want to create. Let's set up this next generation because this REO industry is old, right? There's some people I'm like, can you do this another cycle, right? Like, you're old, crotchety, like mean, right? Like, damn, it's time for you to hang up the shingles.
Oh my goodness. Someone said you're already their motivational speaker in the chat. So I got to tap in. I didn't know Mr. White had all this energy going on. I love it.
Anything else, guys? Anything else that we need while we have Labrescia on the call with us?
Well,
I just
Labrescia,
wanted, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Joe.
No, please go ahead.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Labrescia. I don't know if you remember me, but you hung out with my son and I back at the Hilton Anatole many years ago at a 5-star. And it was when you were going to conquer this whole becoming a HUD asset management company, and you were going to do it. And we were celebrating your success before you even got there because we knew that you had a vision and you were going there. And I just want to say congratulations on all your successes. And, you know, I've thought of you so many times since then. And I've taken 1 or 2 of your classes for I forget what it was, you know, managing I can't remember the title, but
no worries. Yeah.
if you could let people know how to take your next certification or how to register so we'll get informed, I think that would be a great benefit to everybody. And I'm looking forward to renewing that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Angela, because a lot of people don't know you have to see it before you see it. So, and I've always just knew in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be an asset manager. But it took for the one asset manager to mistreat me at 5-star. And I said, what I'm chasing will one day be chasing me. So it's like God gave me that, like, it made me cry when I got back home. I said, I have to change that because I don't ever want to feel that way again. And that's also what makes me conscious of how I'm treating you when you see me. I actually answer my phone when people call me. They're like, is this Miss Dawson? I'm like, yes, this is Miss Dawson. Like, I don't get to change when I get here. You know, understand what I'm saying? God, and people are counting on me to be what I say that I am. So let's make sure that we have integrity. But thank you so much, Angela. The next class, I say it will be posted in that USDA Facebook group. And I also make sure Mr. Larry White gets that information so he can share it with you all. But I'm just honored. It's a pleasure. And thank you all so much. I'm a broker too.
And if you guys weren't on here before, right? My hype music is very particular, right? Today was about the queens in the room, right? Because like with me being a girl dad, right? I have 2 queens that I'm raising myself. Right? I don't want them to be dependent on anybody. I am the biggest feminist I know. And that song was for you guys, right? And one of the biggest compliments, like I think my wife did 88 deals last year, right? And so the funniest thing in the world where like if she wants something, she'll ask me and then she'll be like, what am I asking you for? I make my own money. I was like, you do. Like, you don't need to ask me a damn thing. Let's do that for all of your daughters, all of your children, right? And really set up these next years, guys. There's going to be so much opportunity. Labrescia, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm sorry with everything. I think I'm losing my voice here, which has never happened on an actual mastermind call. But I thank you so much. We will stay in touch. If you need anything, please call, text, email me, let me know. The rest of you guys, we have Leo Pareja, the CEO of EXP coming on next Friday. And Labrescia, for you, for your team, any of you guys, like we do this every Friday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. I've had Eric Delgado, I've had Darren Cottrell on here, right? Like some people that are like, let's figure out how we do more business together and add more value to each other and stuff here as well. And so you, your group are always welcome. It's open format every single Friday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Go out there, kick ass this week, guys. And if you need anything, please call, text, or email me. Love you guys to death, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.